Welcome to my channel. I'm Suzanne and my channel is called Stylin' by Suzanne, and my focus is on styling these hooded eyes. Yes, I have very hooded eyes. As I get older, my eyes are getting more and more hooded, and I've been having trouble recreating some of the looks that I like on these hooded eyes. So I've been working on coming up with ways of modifying some of the looks that I see on other people that have more lid space than I do, and trying to do those looks on my hooded eyes. So this is the look that I came up with today. The intent of today's video was just to show that you can do kind of a half-cut crease dramatic eye look when you have hooded eyes. It's just all about where you place the product and what kind of shadows you're using, whether they're matte or glittery shadows, and where you put them. So if you want to see how I got this look, then please keep watching. Okay, so let's get started, you guys. This is, as I mentioned, a tutorial for hooded eyes. So I've already done my foundation and my brows, as you can see. And just in case anyone is wondering, the foundation I used today is the Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo. It's a medium coverage foundation with SPF 25. It's a little bit dark for me, so I did mix it in with a little bit of the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, it's called. With brightening complex, and this is a bit light for me, so I mixed the two together and it seemed to come up with a fairly decent match for today, although it's still a little bit yellow. The Dermablend has a little bit too much of a yellow undertone, but I'm not too worried about that. I finished set the foundation with my loose powder by Too Faced, the Born This Way powder, and I just put a little bit on a damp beauty blender and pat that into the areas where I normally get oily. Concealer, I used my Tarte Shape Tape concealer. I've also set my eyes, or primed my eyes, and I used the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot for that, to give my eyes a base, clear, nice blank base for the eyeshadow. For my brows, I used the Benefit KaBrow, and I love the little brush. I actually do use this little brush. I just dip it in and then I squeeze it with my fingers to make it come to a point, and then I can draw on the little hairs and create the shape that I'm looking for. I also filled it in a little bit further with my new Holy Grail eyebrow pencil. This is the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. And I'm not sure what shade this is in. I don't think it says on the package, but this is the one with the triangular shape to it, and it's got a spoolie on the other end, which I love this. And then I used a brow gel to set my brow hairs, and I used the brow gel the BrowGal by Tanya Crooks, the Instant Brow Hair number 2, and I got this in my BoxyCharm box. I think it was the April box, or maybe the March one. Look at this little tiny applicator. Isn't that the best? I love that because it doesn't get all over the rest of my face when I put that on. So that's really all I've done with my face so far. I have a little bit of a lip gloss on just because my lips are really dry right now. And so yeah, let's get started talking about the eyes. So as you can see, I've got very hooded eyes. And this particular tutorial, I'm going to do a little bit more of a dramatic look than I've usually done in the past, because I want to be able to show people that even if you have hooded eyes like mine, you can still do those dramatic looks that you see on YouTube and Instagram if you have hooded eyes, but there are certain techniques that work best for hooded eyes to be able to do that. So the one I'm going to do today is it'll be a half cut crease, and it'll show you that you can. I know the general rule for hooded eyes is that not to put anything shimmery or glittery on this puffy hooded part of your lid, and I agree with that. Most of this look is going to have like the sort of a more contoury matte shade on the lid part, because you want to not emphasize that too much. But you can go a little bit above that so that you can try and get a little bit of that fancy look that you can see other people with bigger lids, more lid space, and they go up higher as well. Actually, even people with larger lid space than those of us with hooded eyes tend to go above their natural crease when they're doing these types of look anyway. So you just don't want to go too far when you have hooded eyes. Listen, I don't want to walk around looking like Mimi from Drew Carey, which is very, very easy to do when you have hooded eyes. Nothing against Mimi. I love Mimi. She's great. But I don't know that, you know, I don't know that I really want to look quite that dramatic all the time. I'm going to go in with my Shaaanaxo palette. It's by BH Cosmetics. It's the Shaaanaxo Remix palette. So this is the one with shadows on both sides. I'm going to start with the neutral side, and I'm going to start with this palette, this color called Clarity. And this is a really great setting color. I just go in with a big fluffy brush. This is my BH Cosmetics number 12 brush. This is a really good brush to just sweep it all over the lid, and this will set the primer so that the shadows blend more easily, and that's really important when you have hooded eyes. You really have to watch that blending. You don't want it to go on patchy. The next color I'm going to use is called Buttercup. It's this one here. I don't know if you can see it. Buttercup. And I'm using the same big fluffy brush because at this point I'm just going to kind of wash it all over the hooded part of the lid. And this will just, and I take it all the way up, almost all the way up to the brow. Not quite to the top. And I put the most color on right here where the brow bone is, or the occipital bone is, and then I gradually bring it up using windshield wiper motions. And I think I'm just going to do one eye at a time. So I'll do this eye first just to speed things up. Then I will take a slightly more, you can see this one is a little bit of a less fluffy brush, but it's still a little bit fluffy. This brush is also BH Cosmetics number 101. Having trouble focusing here. There we go. So it's about the same shape. It's fluffy. It's sort of round and tapered on the top, but it's a little bit more concentrated. And so I'm going to go in, I'm going to go in with the color Terracotta, this one here. And just place that into the area right here. The same area you did before, but just a little bit lower. You're not going to bring it up quite as high as you brought the other one up. Oh, and I should also mention, when you have hooded eyes, it's very helpful so that you can apply the product evenly to be looking down towards your mirror. So as you can see, my mirror is down below me, and I'm kind of tilting it upwards so that when I'm looking at my eye as I'm applying the product, my brush is kind of pointed like this, and so that I'm coming into the hooded part from below, and I'm looking below. My eye is half closed so that I can see the whole space, but every now and then you do need to look up so you can see if the color is going above your lid when your eye is open, so you can see it. So this is the color you want to be able to see, so you're bringing it up just a little bit. So the next brush I'm using is the Morphe M433. It's a, I don't know if it's focusing. It's a little bit of a denser brush. It's flat, and then it's wide and fluffy. It is still tapered, and it apparently has some product on it from before. Just wiping it off on a towel. So this one, you're going to take the same color, Terracotta, which is from this palette right here. Just dip that in and knock off the excess. And you're going to just place that in the outer corner. This brush will give you a little bit more precision in your placement, and it will apply a little bit more product than the other fluffier brushes. I'm not going to go into too in-depth about the brushes at this point, but just enough to explain what I'm doing. So I'm just kind of putting the product all in a sort of a triangular, rounded triangle here in the outer V. I'm going to flip the palette over and put on the, I think it's called Lover, this color here, which is a beautiful matte purple shade. And I'm going to now go in and blend around these edges because they're looking a little bit too harsh. I'm going back in with the shade Buttercup, just to bring back some of that color just around the outside here. We're gonna need a darker shade to go into that outer corner area, because with hooded eyes they tend to be sort of it's not like a monolid where it's just sort of flat across, but mine actually are very almost like that. I've got a very small lid, and then the lid just comes across, and I like to be able to create a little bit of shape. So to be able to create some depth or shape to the eye, open the eye up a little bit, I like to put in a darker tone right into the outer corner over top of the other darker tones. The palette I'm going to use for that, and I know, I'm sorry I'm using so many different palettes, but I just don't have one palette that has all the shades that I need. Any palette you have that has similar shades will do. You don't even have to use the same colors. It's just sort of the technique that is really what's important here. So the palette I'm going to use is the Magic palette by Juvia's Place. And the color I'm going to use is called, what is it, Life? It's called LFE. I don't know what that means. Is it Life or what is it? It's this one here. And going back to a fluffy brush and just kind of wiggle it around the edges just to soften those edges up. So that's kind of the color, the contour part. Now let's do the cut crease part. And for that, I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm using light sand. And I'm going to use a little flat rounded Morphe brush. And this was part of the set, so there's no number. And I'm just going to put a little bit onto the brush. And we're just going to start around the middle. Put some onto the lid area, then open your eye up, and that will show you how high to take it up. So it took it, actually it went a little bit higher, but I don't want it that high. So we're going to take it right to there. It's just a little bit higher than my natural crease. And then the important part here, this is where you don't want to look like Mimi, is you, instead of doing like a round area here, you're going to go and bring it close to, you're going to angle it down to where your tear duct Okay, just like that. In the meantime, while it's drying, what I'm going to do is go in with a little pencil brush by BH Cosmetics. It's brush number 105. And I'm going to take that mauve shade called Lover from the Shaaanaxo palette. This one here. And just going to bring that through to deepen up the contour area. Just like that. We're going to go in with my Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow. And I have it in the shade Smoky Storm. And we're going to go ahead and put that right on top of the concealer. Just like that. Okay, you guys, so this is the final look. It is a half cut crease for hooded eyes, and oh my god. Thanks, Ditto. Okay, my dogs are just snorting up a storm because they know I'm finished, so they're kind of coming back to life. Okay, so somebody is sneezing like crazy. Okay, anyway, so this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe